Edition of Kevali, October 17th. We are halfway through October. I still can't believe it. I went outside, went for a walk today. Didn't even open the window, didn't open the door, just threw my hoodie on because I figured I'd need my hoodie. And it was 25 degrees out when I went for a walk. Insane weather here in southern British Columbia. Wow, southern Alberta. It is beautiful, absolutely gorgeous out. So without further ado, today I have the absolute pleasure of having a chat with Maetche. I had to ask her how to say her last name because I screwed it up so bad last week. But it's Maetche from Reinvented Inc. I'm going to just bring her on. Good evening, Sally.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
Awesome.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. As most people who know that follow me, I do have long COVID. So they've put me on this thing called prednisone, which is a steroid. So if I seem overly hyper today, it's because I'm on this steroid and it makes me really hyper. So you get Kevin on steroids, which could be really an interesting hour there, Sally.
It sounds good to me.
So give us the elevator introduction of Sally Maetche and Reinvented Inc.
Oh my, elevator pitches. So yes, I've done a few of these in my time and none yet for this business because it's constantly morphing.
However, isn't it funny how that works? It's like,
yeah.
so what do you do? And I'm like, well, I do this, and then, then I added this. And then I took this out.
Exactly. I'm constantly reinventing myself, hence the name Reinvented Inc.
It's a great name.
Thank you. Yeah. So I come out of 20 years plus of healthcare experience in family practice. And I also have a diploma in holistic health from McEwan University. And so hi, Alana. I have a completely different way of looking at humans when they come to see me because I can merge both worlds fairly beautifully. I am not a trained nurse. I am a nursing attendant, which is sort of between the person who rooms you at the doctor's office and an LPN. So the name right now, the term of the week is personal support worker. So that's where my training began. But I had many, many amazing physicians and nursing teams to let me ask questions and learn. And I spent 20 years merging both worlds, and now I'm here.
That is so cool. So I'm going to take you back. I'm going to go back farther into the beginning of all this because anybody who's watched my show knows how much I love hearing about someone's journey. And the reason I really like to hear it is I always think if there's one person out there that can either relate to something that you say, Sally, or something that I say and go, oh, so I'm not nuts and this is normal for me to feel this way or to hear this or to see this. I think it's a great thing. So let's go back. When did you first realize spiritually there was something there for you?
You know, I've always been drawn to natural things. However, I probably consciously knew it maybe like within myself, seeing it from within myself instead of being able to pick it out from other people, probably in the last 7 years-ish.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. Very cool.
However.
Very cool. However, I knew there was a however.
Whole life. My whole life. Yep. You know, when you have those experiences where you're sitting with someone and it's quiet and you start talking and you're actually in the middle of a conversation because you're talking up here at a different level. And when the words finally catch up, you're partway through the conversation. That happens to me all the time. It happened to me very frequently. Or you'd pick up the phone back in the day when phones were attached to the wall, and your friend was on the other end, and the phone didn't ring. You just picked it up. You're phoning each other at the same time.
Yeah.
So things like that always have been a part of my life. When I was pregnant with my son, I would see my uncle every single day until his first grandchild was born.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I would see him out of the corner of my eye, and it was very comforting. I still had no idea that that it was a gift, or that it was anything special. I thought everybody had these experiences. I really had no idea that that it wasn't everybody.
And you know what I'm finding out as I go through my journey is I think a lot more people um, that care to admit it have had the similar experiences. Um, all my life, I've seen quotation marks dead people. It didn't become that until, of course, the movie Sixth Sense come out, and then I was like, "Oh, I'm not crazy." Well, I am, but I'm not crazy for seeing dead people, um, because I did. I mean, I used to have conversations with my dad. I would see things that I would kind of go, well, why is nobody else looking over there and seeing what I'm seeing? Similar to what you're explaining. Um, so, were you encouraged as a child to bury those, or were your parents more accepting and saying, go with it?
I don't think I ever talked about it, to
Oh,
be honest.
really?
B I think because I thought it was so normal, that, like, I guess when I was starting to see my uncle, I would tell, like, a few people, but I certainly wasn't open about it. It wasn't the same time that my son is almost 24, so it was 24 years ago that I started, having that kind of an experience. It's a very different world back then,
Oh, yeah.
and,
Not near as accepting as it is now.
not nearly as accepting. And yeah, so
I
no,
and I
I wasn't stunted in it or told not to talk about it, uh, but it wasn't also encouraged.
Well, and see, I was raised as a for my single mom, very strict Roman Catholic, and it was discouraged. It was that was not cool. You weren't supposed to see dead people. It it was not just no, that wasn't a Catholic thing. So it
Yeah.
was definitely discouraged. Um, and I counsel so many of my clients today that when we talk about their kids babbling in the corner or in the crib, babbling up, looks like they're talking to somebody, and like, please, please, please encourage that, because man, we need more and more um that generation to realize this is normal.
Yeah.
It's not weird.
Yeah.
um Healing, energy healing of any kind, I think, is going to become even more mainstream than it is now. It is very, I think it's become way more mainstream than it was, like you say, 23, 24 years ago.
And from a Western medicine perspective, North America is really the only place that doesn't have energy work being done in operating rooms, and recovery wards and on units. And I have
Isn't
a
that crazy to say, though? Like, we're the only
yes, it
nations in the world, North America as a nation. It's
yes.
baffling to me.
It drives me insane. And there have been many, many studies. I have a friend from university that participated as a Reiki practitioner at Children's Hospital in Edmonton at the Stollery. And they had outstanding success, and
Oh,
nothing ever came of it.
uh,
And that already had to be 10 years ago.
well,
Uh,
yeah.
so it just, yeah, we need to
It's
catch up.
Well, and I think we will. I mean, if we look, I look back, I'm in my late 50s, and if I look back to 25 years ago. We look at massage therapy, chiropractors. They were all the voodoo of the medical the practitioners back then. You went there and oh my God, you're going to end up in a wheelchair. They're going to hurt you. Don't do it. Um, Now, I mean, 10 years ago, I remember when I got into my car accident and Ellison wanted me to go see a Reiki practitioner. Unfortunately, I went to the wrong one for me. And that's important. We're going to talk about that apparently.
Yes.
But I honestly thought Reiki practitioners would chop off a chicken's head and dribble blood on me and dance around. I didn't know.
I don't know about you, but I don't want to clean up a mess like that.
Can you imagine after every client? It's like, ah, crap. Okay,
Like,
cut out the chicken blood.
Yeah, let's not perpetuate that.
Well, but that was even when you went to a psychic fair or a psychic expo back then, now we call them more spiritual expos. I'm not sure I would tell people that, Kevin. Alana says that's hilarious. I love Alana. Yes, Alana, you know me. I don't hold anything back. But even when we went to psychic fairs back then, even 15 years ago, it was the fringe of society going to those. It wasn't mainstream. You go to a psychic fair now or a psychic expo, and it's mainstream. It's you and me and the guy next door,
Yeah.
including the guy that cut my hair. He walked by me at a expo one day, and I was like, "Well, that's really cool," because you wouldn't see that in the past. Do you agree?
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm finding now that I'm more open about my beliefs and where I'm going, and
Yes.
and enjoying the natural side of healthcare and medicine and all of those wonderful things and the energy, and helping people to relate it back.
Yes.
That I'm finding more people are coming out of the woodwork from Western medicine that I know
Oh yeah.
that have the same beliefs or similar or are curious. Like,
The curious is the best.
yes, like really genuinely curious, to ask questions and have a conversation. It's one of my favorite things to do is I'm trying to evict that word from my vocabulary because it's never just. You're not
It's never
just a receptionist. It's not just
Oh,
anything. It's
I get so
important.
angry when I hear people say, "Oh, I'm just a retail person." I'm like, no, take the
Yeah,
word just out of there. You're a retail person. You're a secretary,
exactly.
just like they are a doctor. There's no
Yes,
difference.
yes. And and I think helping people know their value will help to remove that word. But
Yes, true.
not but. And I love to talk to people about this.
It's
It gets me so excited. I had a great conversation with a guy on the plane back from Maui in September, and he was really guarded at first, and I kind of just kept talking, and it turns out that we actually have the very same values, and we use different language to explain it. And he supports people through his business and mentorship, and I support people by talking to dead people. So, but really, it was actually the same information. He pulled out his manual and showed me what he was doing with these at-risk youth, and we connected using very different language, but it was actually the same.
Isn't it amazing when we can do that when we're talking to someone and at first when you tell them, "Oh, this is what I do," they kind of go, "You what? That's weird. Like that's not no." And then by the time you end that conversation, they're like, "Well, that really isn't much different than what I do." You just go about it in a different way.
Yeah,
And it's true.
exactly. Yep.
Yes. Yes. I've had this exact same conversation with somebody, and it was like, "Well, I'm not a life coach, but this is what I do. I talk to spirit guides and I give people advice. And so I guess really I am a life coach in the
I
energy field.
I really hesitate to use that term life coach because there are very, very many people with many years of training who have that title.
Yes.
My style is to ask you questions in a way where you find your own answers.
And isn't that the best way to do it?
Oh, my cousin just came on.
I was going to say, you got all kinds of fans showing up. You got Marie saying she loves your energy. You got
I love
Tricia
Marie.
saying
Yeah.
Sally,
Yeah.
and Alana, of course. How did you meet Alana? Like, where's the connection
We took
there?
Reiki together. Alana and I took Reiki together. Yeah.
Nice.
And then we kind of like drifted apart, went our own ways. And then she needed help at a fair. So she could do readings and I helped her man her booth. And we reconnected again. And then I took my Akashic Records training with Alana and Kellyanne Vass.
Nice.
And I've learned so much from Alana. She's amazing.
She is amazing.
Yeah.
I don't tell her that enough. Alana, you're amazing. Even for all the I give her such a hard time all the time, but Alana is an amazing young lady.
Yeah.
And I called you young Alana. She's cursing me. She really is. I can hear her. Anyway, so let's go back. So you were in the medical field.
I was.
I'm going to say the Western medical field.
Yes, Western medicine.
Because I think energy medicine and Western medicine are both medicines. So, then you took Reiki.
I took Reiki when I was still in Western medicine.
Okay.
Yeah. So I also took my holistic health training while I was still working in Western medicine, trying to pay the bills to feed my children.
So you took which? The holistic health?
I have a diploma in holistic health from McEwan University. So it's a 2-year diploma.
Can you talk about holistic health? We hear that word a lot, and some people get really going, what is holistic health?
It's basically a way of looking at the whole person.
Okay.
In a nutshell, look at the whole person, meet them where they're at, walk alongside them, hold space for them, no judgment, supporting them. And some people would say that there's a bit of counseling inside of the course. There definitely is not. There is some kind of conversation that you learn. There's communication techniques that you learn. There is not counseling.
See, when I hear holistic health, I think vitamins, natural remedies.
Yeah. So when I was in the program, you had a choice of doing up to 3 modalities. So I took herbology. So I've continued to dabble in it. I haven't done too much with it. Used to talk to my low-risk maternity patients about different things they could do to support their pregnancy, labor, delivery, and nursing afterwards with full support of the physicians. So I got to bring it in that way. I use it for myself. And if people ask, I don't do the regular counseling on it or make tinctures or anything like that. I know some great people who do that and will always refer out for that kind of thing. And then I also have acupressure, which is acupuncture without the needles.
Oh.
However, caveat, it's a very short course. And to do acupuncture, I think is 3 years. And so I definitely did not feel prepared enough to continue that path.
Good for you for knowing that you weren't prepared, because so many courses are offered 6-month course and you can start messing with my body. Yeah. And I'm just like, no. Yeah.
So I take the theory of that. I use a lot of the knowledge that I have from it. I do not dabble in points unless someone I'm very close to has some kind of a pain point, and then I can work that out. But that has a lot to do with the Reiki as well. Um, yeah, so I guess like I've just taken tidbits, not just there's that word again.
There's
I've
that word.
taken tidbits of my entire life and merged them all together at this point.
Very cool. Now then, at what point did you go, that's it, I'm starting my own practice?
Yeah, like 6 weeks before COVID happened.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I just
Scary.
got goosebumps on my goosebumps.
Yeah, yeah, scary.
What?
I actually had to go back to doing some consulting.
Yeah.
So I did consultant work back in Western medicine, where people had money to spend, and I did that. I finally retired from that. I'm calling it retirement because I do not plan to go back to Western medicine. I love you all if you're in Western medicine. That is no longer the life for me. And so I retired from that in April. I had an opportunity come up to do a temp contract to cover a mat leave for somebody that I know. And so I'm doing that right now during the day,
Okay.
and working on stepping into my business probably in the spring, full time,
Very
no
cool.
parachute. This
You
is
know
it.
what? That's
This is the
awesome.
decision.
Good for you. So
Yeah.
now in your business, and I know you just said you walked away from Western medicine, but I'm going to kind of call you out on that one because
Yeah.
do you not use your Western medicine experience along with your energy healing and mesh them together? Look at that.
100%.
And
Yeah,
it's a
very.
perfect fit, isn't it?
Yes, it is a perfect
It's
fit.
almost like doctors and nurses and hospitals should have Reiki practitioners or energy healing and psychic healers on staff.
Yeah, they really should. You're right. I think maybe the phrasing is better put. I will no longer go back to supporting family physicians with the computers that make their offices run.
Yes.
Um, I will not do that work again.
Good
I
for you.
will continue to use my 20 years of knowledge
Yeah.
to support my clients in the way that they need, whether it's maneuvering through the system, understanding what's going on with their body, helping them get unstuck, um, and going back to working with their team in Western medicine. I 100% support that. I have clients that are working with trained therapists and they're stuck and they come to see me and we shift something in a past life through their Akashic records and get their nervous system calmed down a little bit with some Reiki, and they can go back and do the work in a different way with their Western medicine team.
And again, that's that meshing together. There'll always, I'm a big believer, and there will always be a place for Western medicine. Um,
100%.
we can't fix a broken arm by magic. It's
No.
it's not possible. Yeah,
There's some really great herbs though
there's yes,
that will
but
support that healing.
you still need to splint it. You still
Still
need
need
to
to
have
use
your
it.
X-rays.
Yep.
If you have to get an operation, get a pin put in, you still have to go for that operation.
Yeah. The
But
supportive stuff.
I have gone to a psychic healer. I had suffered from horrible sinus infections, and I mean horrible sinus infections where my face would swell up once a month and I'd have to be on pills for it, like antibiotics. I went to a psychic healer, and in the last 2.5 years, I've had one sinus infection.
Isn't it amazing?
I am the biggest skeptic in this field there is still, even though I do what I do, I'm still a skeptic. And I question everybody. It's like, yeah, okay, sure. I have been cured of sinus infections, and I've also been cured of a phobia of mice. Something that still to this day doesn't compute in this brain of mine how that works, but hey, I know it works.
Yeah, I know it too. Trisha might call me out for this, but I have done a lot of work in the Akashic Records around my completely irrational fear of spiders. I
Yes.
can say the word now. I no longer cry when I
Yes.
see one, no matter the size of like the head of a pin or a tarantula. Um, although Trisha has still seen me freak out a little if they're too close. It's not that I just don't cry and scream as much. And I call that a win. So
It is a huge win. I was the same way. I would see a mouse and I would literally hyperventilate. I couldn't function if I saw a mouse. It would just, it's an uncontrollable thing.
yeah, you have to stare at it and see where it goes so it doesn't come near you, right?
I once actually, if I'm hoping Ellison is listening, my girlfriend, I once saved her from a giant mouse. She will tell other people that I pushed her out of the way to try to get out of the house from this mouse, but I was saving her life. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. Oh, I love that story. I have told that story so many times. Anyway, but that's what we need. We need that meshing of the two together. So you've started your business. How long ago did you start your Reinvented Inc.?
That same month, January of 2020.
January of 2020. Isn't that
Yeah.
weird? So much happened in 2020. That's when I started. That's when I took my first courses. Was July of 2020. It was summer of 2020. Because of COVID, we were sitting in that. I didn't have an excuse why not to anymore. Allison that kind of cornered me. I went, oh damn. Okay.
Oh look, now you have time.
Exactly. We had all the time, didn't we?
Yeah.
So before that, were you actually working in the hospitals?
No, I was in family practice.
You were in family practice. Okay.
Yeah, and I was actually in a supportive role, working with multiple family doctors and their offices in Northwest Calgary.
Oh, nice. So that would have been that's a collapse. I mean, it would have been just crazy to go through that, to be in that position going through COVID.
I heard from my friends that it absolutely was. I had vacated that position in order to move into my business. It was a very toxic environment for me. And my body was reacting in a way that said, you need to get out and you need to get out now. You haven't listened for the last year. We've been making it super uncomfortable. You haven't listened, and now we're going to make it worse so that you do listen.
You literally had no choice, is what I'm getting.
I actually did not have any choice. My blood pressure was through the roof.
Oh, that's scary.
And my doctor could not get it down until I made the decision to leave. He actually told me I needed to leave because it was taking such a toll on me.
Wow.
And I was in therapy and finally gave myself the permission to make the change.
Good for you.
And I'm much healthier for it.
That is awesome to hear. So in a given session, if I book a session with Sally and I just got a feeling I need to book a session with Sally. I know this happens to me all the time. What is your what is your typical session with someone who doesn't come with ailments or with I need this fixed? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So my sessions look really different than anyone else's, which I really love the support from Alana and Kelly in doing this way, in that your way is the right way. And so because I am a hyper independent person, I have taken that to the next level. And so I actually will go into your records when you come. I'll go into your Akashic records and I will invite you in.
Nice. Now I'm going to stop you there. I interrupt. You have to excuse me because that's just what I do. And it's my show, so I'm allowed. I'm laughing. I told you, Kevin on steroids. We always throw around these words, and I know I've had other people explain Akashic records. I always like to hear everybody's explanation when someone says, well, Akashic records, what are they?
So Natasha Mott explains it as the Google of the universe.
Oh, I like it.
You can access anything that happened, any experience, any moment in time. Many religions reference the Akashic Records in different language. For Christianity, it is the Book of Life.
Yeah.
I don't have them all memorized. That's just the one I remember.
That's a good one to remember, though.
Yeah, it's common in North America, so it makes sense to people.
Yeah.
Basically, it's an energetic imprint of all of the events. Perfect. And I believe that you have multiple lifetimes for your soul's growth, and you can access those through the Akashic Records. And there are things that you bring from past lives that impact you in this life, both positive and as challenges.
Thank you for saying both positive and as challenges, because we seem to focus so much on challenges sometimes, but there is a lot of positive stuff we bring forth.
My business skyrockets every time I go into my own records and the records of my business, and I find a lifetime where I was not having the problem that I am trying to shift in this lifetime.
Oh, good idea.
I very consciously feel that feeling from that time where it was successful and positive, and maybe I was feeling really confident. I was feeling worthy. I pull that forward, that feeling with me, and I think about it hitting my DNA and every cell of my body. And I will do that with clients as well, to pull that forward and help them to remember that it's possible and you have it within you.
Well, and it was funny because I just watched a video from someone I interviewed last week, Jenna, and she was saying how she gets so tired of healers, energy healers, people who work in the Akashic Records. I'm going to say living off or profiting off fear, because I don't think that's what we're supposed to be doing. Yes, there was some bad stuff that happened to you in past lives that it's affecting you in this life, but I bet you there's more good stuff that's happened.
Always.
Right.
There's always more good stuff than bad stuff. If you think about it logically, even if you have a bad day or a bad minute in a day, there's 60 other minutes in that hour.
Thank you. Ooh, goosebumps. Ooh.
It makes me crazy too. Also, when you're making decisions and you're making a decision from a place of fear, you're not in a good place. You should not be making decisions.
You're going to make the wrong decision. I'm itching. I'm getting my blood pressure's going up.
Having a visceral response here. Yeah. Well, and I think that I have learned that most over the last 3 years.
Very, very cool.
Stepping out of that fear-based thought pattern when you're making decisions is the best thing you can ever do for yourself.
And if
you're not in a fear-based place when you're trying to make decisions.
If you have someone like myself that comes in and says, I have a fear of mice, and you're able to go back, not only see where that fear came from, because there wasn't anything that happened to me in this lifetime. That's the first thing we have to do, is check to see if it's this lifetime or if it's a past life. Sometimes it's this lifetime.
Sometimes.
But not only should you be looking at where I got that fear from, but you should be looking at another lifetime that I didn't have that fear and bringing that in.
Ideally, well, I don't do that every time, Kevin. I do it for the big stuff. The stuff that people are really struggling with, and maybe it is a fear in that session.
Yeah.
I use my intuition a lot. Their guides will give me a ton of information because of the way I take people into session, and if they are visual, sometimes they don't even know. They will see things in the records. They'll have experiences in the records. Sometimes it's feelings. Sometimes they'll see it. Sometimes they'll know it. I can usually, and this has developed the more I've worked in the records. I can usually see what they're seeing, hear what they're hearing, smell what they're smelling, know what they know from my own perspective.
Oh,
So
very
we
cool.
might see mountains and a field with flowers. Their flowers might be yellow. My flowers might be red.
Yeah.
Their mountains might be the Rockies. My mountains might be the mountains in the Yukon where I grew up.
Right.
They're still
Oh,
mountains.
yes.
And we're still in the same place, getting the same information. It's very conversational when I'm in session
Oh, very
with
cool.
someone. The healing does not happen to you. You do it yourself. I am there to support you. And I will walk alongside you. Sometimes there's information that is not ready to be seen or
Yes.
healed, or
Yep.
they're not in a stable enough place where they can re-experience that lifetime. That's okay. We'll get a blank. We'll both just get a blank. I'll check in with my guides and Lord of the Akashic Records. And if it's too much, we let them do the work in that. And we move on.
I am so excited that you, in that short little 1 minute, 1.5 minute discussion we just had, you mentioned guides 3 times.
Oh, I can't do any of this without them.
I'm amazed how many people a lot of my clients are practitioners now. It's really weird. Over the last 6 months, I've transitioned away from. No, I'm not going to call them that. I've transitioned to. They were trying to make me use a word, and I'm like, no, I'm not using that word. I transitioned away from just doing strictly mediumship to doing a lot more spirit guides with spiritual practitioners, and I'm amazed how many people don't realize they are using guides. Whether they've never taken a channeling course or they just don't think that the information they're getting comes from guides. So it makes me very excited when I hear someone who does what you do saying, my phone's reacting to me. I hate that. That's why I keep looking over.
Oh,
I should learn to shut it off because it literally, when I says something, it picks things up and I'm like, what are you doing? It's like spooky. It's spooky. Go figure.
listening.
It's listening. Now I'm going to get like all kinds of ads for Reiki practitioners, I guarantee
Yeah.
you. But when I see Reiki practitioners or Akashic Records practitioners, energy healers, realizing, yes, I use guides. It's awesome.
Yeah. Alana has taught me to work with dragons, so I
Oh
use
my
them
goodness,
quite a bit.
yes.
Um,
Alana's so
I
cool with her
use,
dragons.
yeah, they're amazing.
I love
Shelly, I
my
want to
dragons.
answer your question in just a second. I work a lot with Archangel Uriel. He happens to be one of my primary guides right now. He has come around more recently, probably in the last maybe 8 or 10 months.
Okay.
So I work with him a lot. Yeah, so sorry.
That's okay.
Everybody who's
I know what's happening.
everybody who's watching, all of their guides are like in this auditorium watching us do, and it's like we're on this stage, and it's a little bit distracting because it's just fuller and fuller and fuller, which I'm so excited about because they're going to go out and tell other guides that we do this.
And all of a
And
sudden, you're going to get knocks on your door. Trust
here's
me.
hoping, because listen, there's no parachute after April. This is it for me. This is my decision.
I am
Um,
so
I
proud and
have
so
things.
excited when I hear people do that. It's just so cool.
Yeah, I'm super excited. So Shelly has a question.
Yeah. So
And because I'm a trained facilitator, I'm just going to get right to it.
do it. Do it.
So Shelly's question, if you're listening to this and you can't see your screen, She's newly learning Akashic records and loves the idea of bringing forward the feeling, etc., to this lifetime. So her question is, if she wants to go back to that lifetime, does she set the intention? Yes, it's all about intention.
Yeah.
Energy work is all about intention. I will often ask, especially when we're getting into clearing, I will ask for the earliest lifetime that ... and fill in the blank. Because
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
want to say, go back to the last lifetime. I'm not interested in clearing from the last lifetime to now. I want to work myself out of a job with every client. There's more than enough people to come from people that you're helping, and they're in a different place.
Yeah.
I want to go right back to the very first lifetime where this was an issue and clear it all coming forward.
Oh, very good idea.
So I always ask that it's the first lifetime where this was a
up.
problem, or this was this was a really positive experience for me. And I do it that way, Shelley. So I always ask for the first lifetime, because it's a ripple effect and it's going to impact all of the other lifetimes anyways.
So Shelley, what you want to do, I'm going to give you some advice here, is you want to go back and ask to go to the first lifetime where you were alone yet happy. And I think that would be really helpful for you right now.
Well, that strikes a bit of a chord there, Kevin.
It's for everybody.
My life is transitioning.
Yes, it's for everybody.
Yes.
Shelley is a client of mine, so that it was, she'll know what I'm talking about when I say that.
I feel you, Shelley. I'm doing that too.
Yeah. Alana says, perfectly said, Sally.
Thank you.
Wow, we got way off. We were here. We went.
Yeah.
But that's the way
well, we kind of still answered the question of what does it look like in a session. So you come into your Akashic records. I support you. You'll feel me. I'm usually standing on your left. Not usually. I'm always standing on your left. You'll know I'm there. I know when you cross into the records. And then I introduce you to your healing room.
Is there a reason that you always stand to the left? I've never heard that before.
You know what? It's where I'm comfortable. I stand to the left of the door when they're coming in. I tend to have Archangel Uriel to the left of me and Lord of the Akashic Records to the left of Archangel Uriel. And
isn't that interesting?
I have many, depending what I'm doing, I have different guides that come in. They'll come in on the right. My clients' guides and ancestors also come in on the right, and that is how
Isn't that interesting? Because literally you explained how my session works. My guides are always on my left, always. My clients' guides are always on the right. And I swear to God, my grandkids are going to think I'm in my spare bedroom, which is my office. And there's a little walk-in closet. And I always point over to the right to the walk-in closet when I talk about loved ones coming in. And I swear to God, they're going to think that's the other side. The grandkids we have a Murphy bed here. This is a Murphy bed. Yeah. So they're not going to want to sleep here because they're like, nah, Papa. It's like, that's the other side. I know what you're up to. That's awesome. But I never thought of it, but my guides are always on my left. My clients are always on my right. So must be a thing. Got to be something there.
Could be. Who knows?
Or like you say, it's just the way we're comfortable.
Yeah.
Are you left-handed by chance?
I am left-handed.
Wow.
Yeah. You too.
I'm left-handed.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Is it seriously already 7:45? How did you go 45 minutes and holy crap? Wow.
I love this so much.
And that's why people always ask when I ask them if they want to come on the show. They're like, well, do you have a set of questions? Or and I'm like, no, because if I have a set of questions, it's going to be over in 15 minutes because I'm just going to go.
Yeah. It's
This
not
is just
organic, is it?
no, it's just a
Yeah.
conversation,
Yeah.
and it always goes by so quick. But I don't want to push it past an hour because I appreciate your time. So, and I know people have a lot to do, so it's not something you can stretch out for 2 hours. I don't think people would um, want to hear Kevin talk for 2 hours.
They wouldn't want to hear me talk for 2 hours. And I like to talk a lot. So tomorrow when I have dinner with Alana, we're going to talk for more than 2 hours.
Oh God, she's going to talk about me. Anything she says is a lie. Alana, be nice.
Yeah.
Alana and I have no idea how Alana and I met. When I asked you how you had met Alana, it's like, I think we've known each other forever, but we haven't. It's just been like the last couple of years. I don't know if we took a course together. We might have been in one of Ken's courses together or did something with Ken together.
Yeah.
And we just connected. It was just one of those silly things where now we're friends. We've been for dinner with her and her husband. Gee, we won't be talking about you, Kevin. Jeez.
We have a few other topics to cover tomorrow.
Yeah, sure. That's awesome. So, what is in the future for Sally now? Now you say in spring you're going to jump in, no parachute.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back. What services does Sally offer? Like besides the Akashic Records
Oh yeah,
healing?
this is really important.
Yes.
Because of my diploma with McEwan, I am actually a member of the Natural Health Practitioners of Canada. And so everybody gets Reiki in every session because then you can claim it on your benefits.
Oh, how cool is that?
Yes. So that is something unique that
That's
I
very
provide.
unique.
And besides the energy of Reiki is so beautiful and healing.
Yes.
I provide that for every client in every session because that keeps me the way it's supposed to be for people
Yes.
to. I'm in compliance, and I'm not typically very compliant, but I am compliant in that. And which is, why my sessions look so different than everyone else's, because I'm not a follow the norm kind of person.
So when someone comes in, do you do in session or Zoom?
I do both, but I really love in person.
Do you?
I can feel your energy through Zoom
Yeah,
and remotely, and you can certainly feel the Reiki, uh,
100%.
and it is equally as impactful. But I love in person. I
Oh,
love it.
interesting.
I
Okay.
love in person. Yeah.
And so when you do an in-person, is there do you have like a massage table people lay down, or is it a couch people lay
I
like?
do. I
Okay.
have a massage table. Most people, you can't see it, it's out of the
Yep.
frame, but I also have a chair.
Okay.
Sometimes people stand because they're really fidgety because energy is shifting so quickly.
Yes.
Anything goes in my session. Sometimes people will yell or swear, whatever. I don't really care. Let the energy out. It's better
It
to have it
happens.
here where I can deal with it.
Yeah.
And you're in a safe place. And you don't have to take it with you. I don't let the energy go back to you. When you give it away, that's it. Goes into Gaia, and she handles it and repurposes it for other things, like
Nice.
healing herself. And yeah. And Western medicine has taught me to deal with all kinds of people and situations, and not much really bothers me in a session.
Nice. Now,
Yeah.
we talked about this before we went live, but I don't do a lot of research on my guests before because I want it to be organic and natural. But I did look at your website. Did you not offer house clearing as well?
I do. I
Yes.
do offer house clearing. I have a few different workshops too that I offer. I have different guides that come in for house clearing.
Let's
Um,
talk about house clearing for a second because I
yeah.
think there's a misconception what house clearing is. Um, what do you do when you go in to clear a house?
So I get permission to be there
That's
from
no,
the keepers of the land.
and hopefully the residents of the house.
Well, the residents of the house are paying me typically, so yes, thank you for the permission.
Just walking down
And
there, oh, that house needs clearing. Knock, knock.
well, sometimes souls show up in funny places and they need to be dealt with. But
Allison and I have been there. We know what you're
yeah,
talking about.
yeah. And I don't know. This guide has not corrected me in the name that I have for him. He is a chief, an Indian chief, an Aboriginal Indigenous chief. He does not correct me. I call him the chief.
That's
And
what he wants to be called.
yeah. And he supports me in getting the blessing to be here now, even though the blessing wasn't requested before we took over.
Right.
And he supports me in that. We even out the energy. The dragons clear the water and the air and all that kind of stuff. We go, we set a sphere of protection around the property, close any portals that are there, help transition any lost souls. They often come running from all parts of the neighborhood. Yeah, so that's a conversation. Like,
yes.
Did you not know you could just go yourself?
No, that's why they're called lost.
Yes, that's why they're called lost. I know, but I still talk to them about it because I'm like waiting for a different answer, I think. And we get everything sealed up and feeling better. It's a beautiful thing to have done before your photos are taken when you're selling your home. It helps to remove your energy and for people coming through to feel themselves in your home. It also helps if not everybody's on the same page of wanting to move, or there's a situation where you need to move. It helps remove some of that emotion in the move. We clear all of the materials that build the house, the energy of the people that worked on the house or cleared the land.
Because we leave energy everywhere we go.
We sure do. We sure
now,
do.
It's not just for people selling a house, though. You could go in and do clearing for any purpose. If I feel uneasy in my house for whatever reason, I'm seeing dead people.
And you don't want to?
And you don't want to. Before this, when we lived in our old house, Allison and I, when we lived on First Ave there, it was probably the most haunted house I've ever been in. And I don't use the word haunted very often. I used it then. I don't use it now. But it would freak us out. Like, we'd throw a ball down the hallway. The dog would go running after the ball. The dog would come back 15, 20 seconds later. The ball would come bouncing back.
Oh, that gives me shivers. That would be creepy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'd wake up and I'd see people standing in the doorway of the bedroom. It was that kind of haunted.
So we clear that and close up all the portals, because sometimes there's like a tunnel, like a little train station that is like, oh, well, this is the easy route.
Well, and I honestly believe underneath that house, her house, it was Allison's house, there was a little stream that ran underneath her house. And she had a sump pump that you could move this cover and you could hear the water running underneath. And I'm thinking it had something to do with that. I'm getting goosebumps on my goosebumps.
I just saw like little boats streaming through with like next exit.
Exactly. Right. And of course, then you get two empaths like Allison and I who have no idea what we're doing. And it's just like neon sign, right? It's like, come on in, join us.
Yeah, you're so open. Yeah. Let's go for a visit. No, it's not coffee time. It's 4 a.m.
We could have really used you in that house before we sold it. So what else? So you have house clearing, and now you're going to offer, sorry, we're running short on time. You're going to offer some workshops.
I do have some workshops. I have Claire Abilities. What are they, and do I have any workshop? and I'm running that about quarterly. I'm teaching Akashic Records for beginners this coming weekend. There is still space.
Oh, awesome. And
That is in
it's a
person or online.
in person or online.
Yep.
And what do you, it's a 2-day or 1 day?
It's 2 full days.
2 full days. And what do you
Yep.
charge for that?
It's $420 plus GST.
Awesome.
Sorry, including GST. It's $420 including GST.
Does anybody in this whole industry understand the significance of charging $420 for a seminar or a workshop? Does nobody understand 420? 420. You know what 420 stands for, right?
I know 420. I know, and I'm well aware of that.
I just so many people charge 420, and I was like, did you guys all get together at one time before I started doing this? It's like 420 sounds really cool.
Yeah, you know what? The people I learned from charge that, and I certainly don't want to.
It's
it's a good energy. I found them in that. It's a really great price for 2 full days.
For 2 full days
work.
of
Yep.
You can't get the training that is being offered for $400 plus tax, which comes out to the 420.
Yes.
You can't get 2 days of that intense training. You're paying $1,500 or more for other modalities outside the energy industry.
Oh, at least, yeah. And
right, or spirituality industry.
2 full days of healing. You are doing 2 full days of healing, especially in beginner. There is no partner work.
16 hours of healing.
Yep.
Right? Yes.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to sign up for that, go to Sally Maetche. I almost screwed that up again, Sally.
Yeah,
Sally Maetche Reinvented Inc.
That's my Facebook page. I do have a full website.
Okay.
www.reinventedinc.com.
Oh, that makes it easier. So just Reinvented Inc.
Yeah. Everything about me, questions,
awesome.
FAQ, yeah.
Very, very cool. We're going to have you back on at some point in the new year here.
I would love it.
I'm getting from your guides probably closer to spring when you jump out of your airplane with
when I have no parachute.
When you have no parachute. I've jumped out of airplanes. I look up at my first jump certificate, but I had a parachute. When I hear people doing what you do, doing what I do, and they just jump in head first and say, you know what, I know this is what I need to be doing. Good on you, Sally, for knowing that this is what you need to do. And you know what, we need more people like you to step forward. And just like when we talked full circle about chiropractors, massage therapists, 20 years ago, there wasn't a whole lot of them. Now they're on every corner. Yeah. Guess what? In 5-10 years, I honestly believe we will be on every corner. That sounded kind of creepy. We'll have a brick and mortar shop on every corner doing energy healing. I think that it's going to be the way of the future. So good on you for leading the way. It's cool.
Thank you for your support. Thank you for having me on. The conversation was amazing, and I had a lot of fun. And you didn't cough. Congratulations.
No way. I did. I went into one little coughing fit, but I drank a lot of water and held my breath. And and the steroids really haven't been too bad. I've been trying to.
Just wait. The hunger is coming.
Oh my goodness. I've already had enough hunger. Can't you tell?
I know, me too.
Okay, I'm going to put you back in the waiting room. Don't go anywhere. I want to talk to you afterwards.
Okay.
Just by clicking this button, I have a magic button over here that I can just put you in the waiting room and say, thank you, everybody. I so enjoy doing these Kevali channeling presents ... I do ... It means something to me. I'm not going to go into it right now, but it really does mean something to me. And if you're a practitioner and you want to come on and tell your story, please reach out. I'm booked up. I think for some reason I have next week open. I'm not sure why, but for some reason I think I might have booked somebody and I forgot that I booked somebody, or I have it open. One of the two. So if you're out there and you feel this would be a good opportunity to promote your business, and not only that, but to really give your story so other people might hear something that really clicks with them. A little bit about myself, self-promotion time, something I don't do enough of apparently. If you want a reading from me, like I say, I do, I'm a medium. I talk to your spirit guides, give advice from your spirit guides to you, pass messages from your spirit guides to you. Go to my Facebook, Kevali Channeling. I am really restricting how many readings I'm doing just because of my health. I was trying to do 4 a day. I've brought it down to 2 a day only. So find a time that works for you. I'll let you know if I have time. If not, we'll work and bounce back and forth. We'll get a time that works for you. I am also doing my first solo live event coming up November 16th, pretty much 1 month from today, where I'm going to have people over to our home. I'm limiting it to 10 people, and we're just going to talk about spirit guides, and I'm going to kind of give a demonstration, channel some spirit guides for people in the group, and really show what spirit guides, who they are, and what their purpose is. So if you're interested in that, again, you can go to my events tab on my Facebook. It's $20. It's keeping it nice and inexpensive. It's going to be a 2-hour. It's going to be lots of fun. If you need any more information on that, PM me. And until next week, where I'm not sure who I'm going to be talking to, but I'm sure I will be having a guest of some kind, we will talk to you.